Good morning. My name is Chris Kalori. I'm the CEO of the Gateway Development Commission. On behalf of the commissioners and our partners, including New Jersey Transit, Amtrak, and Port Authority, welcome. I know we're also joined by our partners at the FTA and FRA, and Administrator Bose, thank you for being here. Several months ago, we said that 5 out of the 9 packages that make up the Hudson Tunnel project would be either in construction or procurement by the end of 2023. And we're on track to do just that. The Hudson Yards concrete casing project is an essential element and a missing link between Penn Station and the tunnels that we will build. And this is the first project of those packages that we're going to start construction today. None of the work we are doing today or about to do in the years to come would happen but for the exceptional and committed leadership and that has been demonstrated by Majority Leader Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, Governor Hochul, Governor Murphy, represented by Commissioner Scicchetti, Secretary Buttigieg, and Senior Advisor to the President, Mitch Landrieu, and the President himself, and Tony Kosha, the Chairman of Amtrak. But we wouldn't be able to build this project but for the labor unions and their absolute commitment to make sure they work on this job. To that end, I want to recognize Santos Rodriguez, who's here from the Building and Construction Trades Council, but it is my great privilege to introduce a true champion of the Hudson Tunnel Project and the Gateway program at large, Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer.
You're good. You're right.
That would be.
Thank you very much. All right. We are here. And we're here to announce another major milestone for Gateway. Today I am announcing another massive $3.8 billion infusion of federal funds, the light at the end of this tunnel project. It brings the federal contribution to an amazing 70%. The governors like that. We do too. Furthermore, construction now begins on both sides of the Hudson. It's all systems go. There's no turning back. And that $3.8 billion doesn't include another $1 billion from Amtrak. So this is really just an amazing day. Now let me take a step back. You know, when I took on Gateway, when it was do or die trying, I made an announcement that I would deliver the federal government at 50% of the costs. And I knew if we really worked hard, we might get it higher. Today, I can tell you the Fed share of Gateway is now more than 70%. This is unheard of, but I'm the majority leader. This is New York. We go big. Today's 3.8 infusion also follows other funds I announced previously and brings the federal total to over $11 billion. And every dollar, guys, represents a good paying union job for many years to come. So that's $11 billion plus a 70% share. Now, these, got to get this right. These are hard dollars. These are hard dollars that translate into hard hats. Is my staff great? Now, with today's news, this is another great thing for our New York, New Jersey area. New York and New Jersey governments can now free up extra money to put into other transit needs, and there are so many here in our metropolitan area. So this is huge for mass transit and transportation across New York. When I helped write and then pass the BIF, I always had federal dollars for New York and Gateway in particular in mind. And now Gateway is the most consequential infrastructure project in all of America. And let me just say this. We had a president who always had infrastructure day. It never happened. Joe Biden has made infrastructure day, week, month, year, decade happen. He cares about it. He knows about the Northeast. And Mr. President, you're not here in person. Your great secretary is, but you are here in spirit. You're hovering over all of this. Because for you and for me, Gateway and the Northeast Corridor have been a labor of love. Many false starts were placed in our way. Everyone knows that. And so that makes this $3.8 billion announced today even more critical fuel. With these new dollars, Gateway's future is assured. All systems go. There is no turning back. We all know why this project is so important. Rail tunnels under the Hudson are an essential artery that moves countless people and goods along the entire eastern seaboard. If that artery gets backed up, then the heart of our national transportation economy would cease to pump. America would go into recession overnight. Millions of people would lose their jobs. The George Washington Bridge, the Holland and Lincoln tunnels would be bumper-to-bumper traffic 24/7. Pollution would increase. So we've always made Gateway a huge transportation priority. A lot of these points explain why and how I led the BIF, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill, to passage. Gateway's a benefactor, but so are many of our other critical infrastructure projects across the country, and we're proud to have somebody from Senator Hickenlooper from Colorado, because he cares about transportation here as well as a listener. But you'll have good projects with the great Secretary Buttigieg. You will have great projects in Colorado too, I am sure. So, and let's not forget, this is something I've reminded our new Speaker of the House. The whole bipartisan bill was done, the whole infrastructure bill was done bipartisan. And that's how we have to operate to get things done in Washington. It's good for New York, good for America. We are a country that can and should do big projects. And with now, the Hudson Tunnel project moves into full construction. We spent a lot of time getting here. Because of its importance, we had to do it. Secretary Buttigieg, and I'll say this now since he'll be up on later, what an amazing transportation secretary, what an amazing person. He lives and breathes this stuff. When you call him, he's always getting to work on things. He is one of the greatest secretaries of any cabinet position that I have ever worked with. Let's have a round of applause for this man from Fort Wayne, Indiana. I brought him here to see it. I also brought the president here to see it. And we had to move. The Trump administration, as you know, delayed this work for years. But even under his administration, I never backed down from championing the project. President Trump gratuitously delayed the work, but I worked behind the scenes. When President Trump tried to derail Gateway, I said, no way, not happening. And today, President Trump is where he is, and Gateway is here getting done. All systems go. 72,000 direct jobs, $19 billion in economic activity, mind-boggling dollars into the New York, New Jersey, and national economies. all systems go. And now it is my pleasure to introduce, I don't have the order of speaking. Okay, so before I introduce the governor, I want to say I have a great partner in Washington who's done an amazing job for transportation in so many ways. She is persistent. She can talk to the most conservative Republicans into getting things done for the good of New York and the good of the country, and we're lucky to have her as our U.S. Senator, Kirsten Gillibrand. But I am not introducing her. I am introducing another great leader, our wonderful governor. She cares so much about transportation, I can tell you. From one end of the state to the other, you always see the state and the governor working on projects. We do many of them together with federal and state dollars. She does many of them on her own with just state and local dollars. She cares, she fights hard, she's successful, she in her persistent way as well. And her dogged, she doesn't stop and quit until she gets something done. We have a great governor, and the state is contributing, well, no longer 25%, it's closer to 15, but I know you'll use that 10% that you were going to use on Gateway well. Our great governor, Kathy Hochul. Did I hold them up, Brian? Yeah, you did. Good.
For 30 years, Americans, travelers, businesses, workers have been hoping for this day. But years of inaction, excuses, delays, and the infighting are finally over. We're now heralding in a new era of working not against each other, but working together to accomplish great things. And for the first time, we have representatives pulling together in the same direction who want to get real results. And I want to start by thanking President Joe Biden. This would not have happened if we did not have a president who had the vision and the guts and tenacity to get this over the finish line. This means so much to the president, but the president means so much to us here in New York. Let's give him a round of applause in his absence. Secretary Buttigieg, we've been at many projects together, yes, from here to Buffalo, investing the money that you have all fought so hard for. I want to thank you, because I know you know local government. You know local government, where I come from as well, and how important these projects are to communities as part of their identity. So thank you, Secretary Buttigieg. Majority Leader Schumer, God bless you for being out there and fighting like a dog. I mean, you just never gave up. You said this is going to get done. And through the years, been that voice saying we have to push forward. I'm grateful that you're our Majority Leader. I'm grateful that you're our Senator. Majority Leader Senator Schumer, thank you. Senator Gillibrand is also out there fighting, representing the voices of all New Yorkers in all the fights she takes on. We are blessed to have her as our senator, Senator Gillibrand as well. Thank you. Governor Phil Murphy is not here today, represented by his commissioner, but in case you haven't noticed, you also need a great federal government. Thank you. But if the states don't work together, this isn't happening. So I want to thank Governor Murphy for the amazing partnership that we've had since I've been governor just 2 years. We've gotten so much done. Our teams work together, and you should not take that for granted, because that has not always been the case, and I see a lot of smiles out there. You know what I'm talking about. Our local leaders, Mark Levine, our borough president, Chris Coleri, I want to thank him for his work with Gateway Development. Mitch Landrieu, thank you. I saw you your first day on the job in Washington. I showed up, I said, you're going to see a lot of me. So thank you for championing these projects. I know you have the rest of the country to look out for, but maybe after Louisiana, you can look out for New York first. It seems like that's the case. Tony Kosha, our great partner at Amtrak, thank you. And all the representatives from the building trade. Let's give another round of applause for the men and women of labor who are here today. Anthony Simon, Ken Zabrowski is here, Eric Botcher, and of course, the one and only Catherine Garcia, the director of all state operations. Amazing. The Majority Leader said the magic word, which I love the most. 70,000 good paying union jobs. That doesn't happen every single day. Let's not take this for granted. There are young people who'll be working on the job site that weren't even born when this journey started down the track 30 years ago, and we are so excited about this as well. A century ago, our leaders knew and had the vision to recognize the need for this connection to bring our nation together. They knew that a reliable rail system could bring tremendous benefits beyond just New York and New Jersey. And today we've seen that this corridor is vital to our economic success. And that's been the story for over a century. But now we're called upon to make the investments to ensure for the next 100 years, this is reliable, it's stable, it can be counted on, and make sure it's never disrupted. Again, it's been a long journey. 4 presidents, 5 governors have all said they'd get this done. Well, guess what? You have the governors and the president and the leadership in Washington that are saying, no more talk. This is the day the shovels go in the ground. Let's make this happen. So I'm excited to be here, and I'm real excited about the announcement, the additional money. Thank you, thank you, thank you, because I have already mentally spent that extra money. Don't worry about it. But let me give you a hint. It's got shovels and hard hats as well. So that's what we're going to continue to do. So thank you, everyone. This is a great day, and you'll see us at many more announcements because we have a president and a Congress, Senate that knows what they're doing. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome New York Senator, the Honorable Kirsten Gillibrand.
So exciting. This is such an amazing day. I really want to just reiterate what our governor has said, what Senator Schumer has said. This is a great day for New York. It's a great day for infrastructure. It's a great day for transportation. It's a great day for our union leaders and our union jobs. This is what America is about. Infrastructure builds the backbone of our economy, and it builds the backbone of jobs. And so having this culminate today with this announcement is extraordinary. And Senator Schumer was quite right. This would not have happened without President Biden and President Biden's extraordinary team. Our transportation secretary, our infrastructure czar. Both of you have been extraordinary for this country and for our state. I've traveled around our state with Mitch Landrieu. We've announced different projects all across the state. Our secretary has been here multiple times to talk about the vision that we have for this state and this country. So the president has the best team he can imagine. I want to recognize the Gateway Commission as well as the Amtrak Board Chairman. All of these leaders have made a difference in getting us where we are today. I remember when I first understood the importance of this project. It was right after Superstorm Sandy. And for those of you who were in New York at the time, it was a devastating moment. President Obama came and we actually toured the saltwater damage that came into the North River Tunnel. We saw that this was something that needed to be fixed, and we had to have a different investment long term to have resilience, to be able to withstand another superstorm, to be able to make sure that the Northeast corridor could actually have an economic structure that it could rely on. This is a fundamentally important project. Without the Gateway Tunnel and without this investment, the entire U.S. economy would be at risk, especially if we had another superstorm like Sandy. This is something that will be transformational for people that are traveling from New York to New Jersey and New Jersey to New York. I want to thank our New Jersey leadership for being here, and my best regards to our governor. This will transform the reliability for about 200,000 daily rail passengers on Amtrak and New Jersey Transit. And it is a once-in-a-generational infrastructure project that will not only unclog a major economic bottleneck on the Northeast corridor, but it does create those tens of thousands of good-paying jobs, and it will generate $19 billion in economic activity. I just want to again thank everyone who made this happen. A critical part of this project is completing the third and final section of the Hudson Yards concrete casing, which will eventually connect the Hudson River Tunnel to New York Penn Station. And we remember President Biden came here in January with Senator Schumer, where we announced that $300 million investment. This is the next leg of that investment to get us where we need to go. This is a monumental undertaking, and there's no greater state than New York to undertake it. God bless you all.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome New Jersey Transportation Commissioner Diane Gutierrez-Scacchetti.
Good morning. It is hard to follow such passion and such personality when it comes to describing the importance of today. It is an incredible day for all of us to celebrate the first project that is going under construction by the Gateway Development Commission. But what I'd ask all of you to do is for 1 minute think back. Think back 18 months ago when I didn't know Catherine Garcia and she didn't know me, but we were put in a room and asked to figure this out. And in 18 months, we went from not having a Gateway Development Commission or a Phase 1 MOU to having a fully functioning Gateway Commission and a PDA, a Project Development Agreement, that allows us to be where we are today. And while I can talk about all the benefits of this project, this would not happen without leadership like Catherine's, like Manelli DeCruz, Richard Sun, Tom Hochul, Laura Mason, Chris Calori, Eric DeLeo. Those are the folks that we're all sitting up front, and it's great, right, for all of us to be here. But without every one of those individuals, we would not be here at all. They work night and day to put these agreements in place. They struggle with all of us as we meet our little nits in the agreements, our little disagreements on agreements. But they're patient, we're patient, and I think as we look at repairing an age-old tunnel, replacing an age-old tunnel, what we should look at is the bridges that we're building across the region to make sure, Majority Leader, that we will get more projects done regionally to protect regional transportation in this economic boom of the Northeast. Governor Murphy truly wishes he could have been here with us today. Unfortunately, as things do, schedules collide, but he offers his sincerest congratulations to Secretary Buttigieg, to Majority Leader Schumer, to Senator Gillibrand, to Advisor Mitch Landrieu, to Governor Hochul, his partner in this region, and to Chairman Kosha, to just remind all of us of the importance of working together. Even sometimes when it's hard, it usually is what produces the best result. But let me say, we do not rest on the laurels of today. There is so much more work to be done. There are so many more projects that will fill out the full Gateway program that we must continue to focus on. So please know, to all of us here, to all of you in Washington and in leadership, we will not stop until we build this Gateway program out and we bring to this region the best transportation system possible. Thank you so much for having me.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Senior Advisor to the President of the United States, White House Infrastructure Coordinator, Mitch Landrieu.
Good morning, everybody. Senator Schumer, thank you so much. Secretary Buttigieg, Senator Gillibrand, Governor, to Governor Murphy, who could not be here, and to all of you who have gathered here, especially the men and women of labor that, according to the President of the United States, built the middle class and built this country. I am thrilled to be here once again. The President, as Senator Schumer said, was actually here in January with the initial announcement and said he was going to come back. And although I'm standing here on his behalf, he is as thrilled as he possibly can be to deliver on the promise that he made to make sure that we created world-class infrastructure in the United States of America. I'm going to leave it to my partner, Secretary Buttigieg, to talk about this specific project because I want to take the big picture for all of us today. But as Governor Hochul said when she was up here just a little while ago, 30 years people have been talking about this particular project. A lot of talk, not a lot of walk. A lot of people have tried to get this done, but when President Biden ran for office, he ran for 3 reasons. He said he had to restore the soul of America because it should be clear to everybody right now that the country is out of the way. And we need to come back into finding, as President Lincoln said, the better angels among us. In order to do that, he wanted to unite the country, and he said that he would work across the aisle with great leaders, Republican and Democrat, state to state, neighbor to neighbor, to try to find a way to get America to do great things again. And the way that we were going to do that, we were going to actually invest in the people of America and invest in the things of America, because the president believes that when you do things together, you can do big things. And when you don't do things together, you can't do much at all. And so along with all of these incredible elected officials today, led by Senator Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, Senator Hickenlooper, and others, they passed a $1.2 trillion infrastructure package. It's a once-in-a-generation package because it hasn't happened in the last 50 years. It's as big as the New Deal. It's as big as the interstate system. It's as big as the rural electrification of America. And it may not get done if we don't learn the lesson of coming together to build big things. And so the president, instead of being someone that talked about things, decided to walk the walk. And we got it done. And just in the last 2 years, after the bill has passed, the president just didn't rest on his laurels. He put a team of people together to get this money to the ground. And in the last 2 years, the president and his team have pushed out $300 billion across this beloved country. We have 38,000 projects that are in some level or formation. The president has created 14.5 million jobs. We have the lowest unemployment rate that we've seen in a very long time. Wages have gone up. The unemployment rate is gone down. The economy is humming in a way that it hasn't in many times. And that is because we have to build roads and bridges and airports and ports and waterways, high-speed internet, clean air, safe water, and a clean energy economy. But you got to turn dirt. And that is essentially what today is about. So the president is thrilled to be able to deliver on a promise that he has been talking about since he was 29 years old, when he will remind everybody that he's probably ridden on these rails as much, if not more, than any other person in the country. And if you haven't heard the story, you will one day. But let me end with this as I stand here on his behalf. My incredible thanks to all of you. Nothing happens in America if the federal government, the state government, the local government, the not-for-profits, the faith-based community, the business community, and ladies and gentlemen, the men and women of labor come together as one team, one fight to rebuild this great country and demonstrate the great things that can be done. So to the men and women of labor, on behalf of the president, please let me just specifically thank you, because he always says that we've got to build the economy from the bottom up. We've got to build it from the middle out. The middle class built America, and labor, union labor, built the middle class. And so on his behalf, let me just extend a hand of gratitude to you for the work that you've done. And then just say this one more time. This is the largest single investment in infrastructure, and what better place than the great city of New York, the great state of New York, to prove that when we do things together, we can get great things done. God bless you all, and thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Gateway Development Commission Vice Chair and Amtrak Board Chair, Tony Kosha.
Wow, it is great to be here. Look, as the chairman of Amtrak and as the center part of a lot of the investment that's happening, I go to a lot of groundbreakings. And during my time with Amtrak, I've been to a lot of groundbreakings, a lot of announcements. And you might say, well, this is just another one of those. But it isn't. There is something very, very different about what we're doing here today. This project is supposed to be too big, too complicated, requires too many people to get along. There are too many reasons why we just don't do big things like this anymore. But today we're putting a shovel in the ground on doing the kind of big things that this country for years has unfortunately kicked the can down the road. And now we're doing it. And I want to start by expressing gratitude to many of the people you've already heard mentioned here today, but I think it's worth repeating because the very thing that has stopped us from achieving these things in the past has been the inability of us to create the kind of partnerships and work together. So I'm very, very grateful to the Biden-Harris administration for the kind of support that they've given Amtrak, and certainly the support behind this project. Senator Schumer and Senator Gillibrand, Governor Murphy and Governor Hochul, and all of those who have been so supportive in all of this, including our friends at the FRA who have been great partners, and all of my colleagues at GDC, many of whom are here today. We have really worked very hard, and that kind of partnership has really meant a great deal to get things done. In addition to that, I want to thank, of course, I know Santo Rodriguez is here from the building trades, and of course, we stand up here and we take credit for things that you're going to build, both above and below ground in this case, all of which represent tremendous accomplishment. And I would be remiss if I didn't also thank our partners at Related. Jeff Blau, I know, is here. The kind of partnership that exists between the public and private sector is really critical to getting things accomplished. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't express gratitude to my colleagues at Amtrak, starting with our CEO, Stephen Gardner, who is transforming a company into something that will truly be a real miracle in terms of how passenger rail evolves in the United States. And of course, our Vice President for Capital Delivery, Laura Mason, Marie Corrado and her team are building projects all over this country that are going to transform the way we operate. Let me just say one more thing about leadership, because I joined Amtrak in June of 2010 as a board member, and it was right around the time that, not uncoincidentally, that the ARC project, the predecessor to Gateway, was terminated. And we sort of picked up our boxes and we went to Washington and we restarted the project, and we came up with the term Gateway when frankly not a whole lot of people knew what we were talking about at the time. And here we are today building the most significant infrastructure project in modern American history. And that, my friends, is a function of leadership. And look, I have to tell you that I was there for some of the dark days when this project was dead. And Senator Schumer certainly was the person who came to our rescue and made sure that during that time, people would not forget New York. They would not forget how important this project is. And frankly, I will tell you, that's twice in my professional career that now has happened. I was the chairman of the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey after 9/11. People said Lower Manhattan was dead. People counted New York out. But Senator Schumer and a whole lot of people sort of came to the rescue. And frankly, I will forever be grateful for both of these exercises that have validated much of the work of my life and the colleagues that I work with. But let me sort of stop for a second, because Gateway's been through a lot. And during all of that, there's a lot of questions. How deep will the tunnel be? Who will own it? Who will run it? Who will build it? How we're going to pay for it? Tons of great questions, all of which we are responsible for providing honest and transparent answers, and we have. And we've worked on this and we've planned it. And it is important in these mega projects, we've learned from around the world, to plan smart. You plan smart and then you build effectively. It is much cheaper to find a mistake on the drawing board than it is in the field. And we've done those things. And we have now planned an excellent project, and we will now endeavor to execute it in an excellent way. But, I will tell you that, although all those questions are important, and I can go on forever about some of the various aspects of this project and how it represents unique challenges from an engineering and geotechnical standpoint, et cetera. But, we started this for a whole different reason. And I think we should never forget about why are we doing this? I mean, why is it important for us to build a new tunnel under the Hudson River, to improve Penn Station, to do all of the improvements that we're now talking about? Why is that important? I think it's important because there is a fundamental thing we're trying to accomplish here. We're trying to create a level of mobility for people that will make a difference in their lives. Gateway will provide an enormous economic incentive. In a world where we rely on a very qualified workforce to be able to get from one place to another, this will provide an incredible economic stimulus to all of that. And let's not forget what's going to change when we build this project. When we are done, we will double train capacity between New York and New Jersey. Many more one-seat rides, a lot easier for people to get out of their cars and onto a train. We will provide increased service to Northwest New Jersey, to Rockland and Orange counties in New York. We have the capacity now to start to envision providing train service between Long Island and directly to Washington. And let's not forget about Penn Access and providing train access to communities in the East Bronx, to Midtown Manhattan. All of this is possible by what we're doing. So as much as we can talk about the cost of this and the engineering of it and all the different difficulties, we are moving people between one place and another and changing the world and doing it. And we're adding to a green economy where this is a major part of the low carbon transformation that this country will go through. We'll create the kind of incentives for transit-oriented development that will allow communities and people to live and work in places where it will produce less of a carbon footprint. And certainly, as has been mentioned many times, the thousands of jobs that are going to be created in building this are going to create the kind of background for people to have quality lives that can support their families, send their children to college, and improve their future benefit. So I have to sort of close by saying that this is by far the best time anyone could ever have been at Amtrak. We are transforming passenger rail in the United States, and it's in no small part because of the President of the United States and his absolute commitment to understanding, not just because he's a frequent Amtrak rider, which of course we appreciated, but because he understands the importance of people having the ability to move from one place to another, to do it safely and to do it efficiently, how it affects their lives so deeply. Mitch Landrieu is here, and I can tell you, he could have given us no better of a partner in that whole process. You have no idea how great it is to someone in my position to be able to call Washington and describe a problem and have somebody on the other end of the line say, I got it and I'm on it. That, ladies and gentlemen, has not been my experience forever. Mitch, thank you for bringing that to us. And as we explore how to bring Amtrak to the next level of its performance, as we create an Amtrak 2.0 for the future, we could have had no better partner than Secretary Buttigieg, who's challenging us to look for solutions from a technology standpoint, to explore high-speed alternatives, to look for places to bring us to the whole next level. For all of this, we are very grateful. For all of this, I think we will all benefit into the future, and I appreciate everyone's effort in bringing us to this point. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, from the New York Building and Construction Trades Council, please welcome Santos Rodriguez.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Everything's been said, so I'm done now. No, just in all honesty, thank you so much. Speaking on behalf of Gary LaBarbera, President of the New York City and New York State Building Trades Council, we are more than excited to have our members participate, build the future of what really is the gateway, the passageway of connectivity to our communities. Thank you, Governor Hochul, Governor Murphy, Secretary Buttigieg, Senator Majority Leader Schumer, Senator Gillibrand, and many more, right? But this is about opportunity. What this creates is opportunity into our workforce. I'm a product of a pre-apprenticeship program, come through the trades almost 25 years ago, and it's projects like this that make us and have us and give us the ability to continue to train the next generation. You see our members here, they will be on site. They will be training the next generation for that, Secretary, 4.0 maybe, transportation. I heard 2.0, maybe 4.0. Let's think about that high-speed railing. But yes, thank you very much for the opportunity. This will definitely create good union-paying jobs. Over 72,000, you've heard that. Thank you for the opportunity once again. Can't wait to see what's next on the agenda. Thank you so much.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome U.S. Transportation Secretary, the Honorable Pete Buttigieg.
Good morning. And what a good day it is. This is a day that I know that this city, this region, this country have been looking for and waiting for a very long time. Santos and all of the workers that you represent know that you are at the heart of this, both in terms of why President Biden pushed so hard to get the infrastructure bill that created these jobs, and now at the heart of actually delivering on it. And we know we can count on you all to make this the shining project that will take its place as one of the largest and most significant public works projects in modern American history. We're delighted to be celebrating it with you. I want to thank Majority Leader Schumer for not just your kind words, but most importantly for your leadership and helping to put us in the position of being able to say yes to this and about 37,000 other projects around the country, none of them quite this big in scale, that we just wouldn't be here without you, without Senator Gillibrand, without Senator Hickenlooper. And while today it is hard for us to imagine it any other way, we should remember it was far from guaranteed that bill would get passed. Its political obituary was written many, many times. But you never lost faith in this vision. We knew we could count on you, and the president never gave up. And now, here we are. I want to recognize Governor Hochul, your extraordinary leadership in getting to this point and leading a state that puts its money where its mouth is when it comes to the importance of transportation infrastructure. Likewise, Governor Murphy and Diane Gutierrez-Scacchetti, thanks for your leadership. You have two governors on both sides of the river who know how to fight for their states and know when to team up for the greater benefit of their states and the region, and it makes all the difference for us being able to work well with you. Chris Kaluri and everybody at Gateway, what you have done is extraordinary and no pressure, but what you were about to do will be even more extraordinary. To Tony and everybody at Amtrak, we're so excited to celebrate this with you. And let me recognize my colleague and partner, Mitch Landrieu, who is guiding so much work across everything from broadband to pipes to these transportation projects that we're so excited about. Also, she can't be here today, but I would be remiss, along with acknowledging all of our DOT colleagues, if I did not say a special word about our Deputy Secretary, Polly Trottenberg, who lives and breathes this and has helped to make all of this possible. Look, we are currently rebuilding roads and highways and bridges and tunnels and ports and airports all across the country, but there are some infrastructure projects so large, so complex that they defy traditional funding structures, and so significant that they become iconic parts of the American landscape. I call them cathedrals of our infrastructure. They are testaments to our achievements, like the Golden Gate Bridge or the Hoover Dam, and this is one such project. I saw for myself, at the insistence of Leader Schumer, of course, the condition of the Hudson tunnels in one of my very first trips as secretary. We toured the tunnels. We saw how the seawater that had come in during Sandy is corroding the steel and damaging the tunnel even a decade later, and that's causing regular delays. And because this region is, of course, one of the most important economic hubs in the world, if those tunnels became unavailable, you would feel the economic consequences as far away as the backyard of my home in Michigan and further, which is what makes the Gateway program critically important, not just to this city, not just to this region, but to our entire country's economic security. That's why back in January, we were proud to award $292 million from a brand new program in the infrastructure package to help support a specific piece of this effort. And we're proud of all of the billions of dollars of support now coming in to make this a success. And today, we celebrate a major step toward completing the new Hudson River Tunnel as we begin to work on the third and final part of the concrete casing that will come to connect the Gateway Hudson Tunnel to Penn Station. I should mention that the application process for those funds was incredibly competitive, but this is, of course, one of the standout deserving projects. This single project, as has been said, will support more than 72,000 jobs, generate $19 billion plus in economic activity. We estimate that it will cut down delays and New Jersey transit trips, of course, for 200,000 people who travel this route every day, will reduce carbon pollution and be more resilient for the extreme weather events of the future. And this, while this is, again, the largest project of its kind in modern American history, it is far from the only project that we're supporting. Tomorrow we'll be in East Harlem, celebrating the effort to finally extend the 2nd Avenue subway up to 125th Street. By the way, that's going to make so many people better off, the deserving residents of that area and that neighborhood, anybody on the 456 line, which is going to get less crowded, anybody benefiting from these new projects and the estimated 36 million rides a year that'll be added. And that's just here in New York. Just the last month alone, I was at Port Miami in Florida, where we're building capacity for our supply chains. And this week, we're announcing efforts to improve resiliency and efficiency across the country. I was in Maryland recently, where we're doing no-cost tuition for veterans to get into trucking careers. Every part of our transportation systems is getting the resources and the attention that it deserves. And of course, the most important thing is not for all of us who work on this every day and care about this, but for people who won't have to think about infrastructure that much because we did. People who will be riding through those tunnels free to think about their families, their upcoming job interview, the homework assignment, whatever it is that matters most in their lives, because they no longer have to worry about those kinds of disruptions. This is a big deal. No one could be more excited, with the possible exception of my 2-year-old son, who lights up anytime he sees an excavator and has to point it out. But no one could be more excited about what's going to happen. You know, it was Teddy Roosevelt, by the way, who was president when this tunnel was first built, who brought us the Square Deal. Another great New Yorker brought America the New Deal, FDR. I believe this and the other projects in the infrastructure bill amount to such a big deal that they will come to be known by historians as the big deal. Because today's news is a big, fantastic deal for the American people. Thanks for being here to celebrate. We're so excited for the road ahead. Congratulations, New York.